Israelites are. The pyramids in themselves tell you about the knowledge. That's the pyramids themselves tell you that they've gotten this knowledge from somewhere in the Eastern Hemisphere dealing with Egypt, because we're the same people from Egypt that were in the Egyptian captivity and built these things, the Egyptian pyramids for them. We built their prior cities. Look at all this melanin, all these Hispanic different tribes. Now I'm not saying that for certain that all these tribes are, all these people come from these nations, because I didn't make this, but for certain there's a lot of melanation in here, and they didn't get that from the Spaniards. I want to give all praises to the Most High who raised me up in the house of a Mexican. Because this, for real, maybe possibly I could even have been mistaken that all Israel is black if I wasn't raised among these people and know who these people are personally, know their nature. But here, also, if you go into the earth is helping the people too. Chief Joseph here says in 1877, the respected leader of the Nez Perce tribe, Chief Joseph said the tablet had been passed down in his family for many generations. He had an Assyrian tablet in his possession from the Assyrian captivity, which you can go into quickly. Second Ezra chapter 13 and 40, where it talks about those are the here. Second Ezra 13 and 40 says those are the 10 tribes, 10 tribes of Israel, the so-called Northern Kingdom, but only 9 are elect. It says, which were carried away prisoner out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salamander the king of Assyria led away captive. The king of Assyria had these people captive and carried away captive. He carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. So they went over into the lands of the Assyria. If you read in the books of the Kings and the Chronicles, it talks about them being carried away captive into Assyria. And Chief Joseph himself had an Assyrian tablet in his possession from the captivity. It's not that he's an Assyrian; it's that they were the ones that mingled themselves with the Assyrians and had their tablets and was worshiping their gods. Here, Hosea 7 and 8, Ephraim has mixed himself among the people. Ephraim is a cake not turned. As you can see, Ephraim ranges from dark to light. Mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her, including Dan tribe. The Negroes, a lot of these Negroes are hiding the fact that the Indigenous are Israelites, because they want to hide that tenth Northern Kingdom tribe, which is Dan. That's where a lot of this folly is coming from. They're creating separation in the people, creating folly and false doctrines, and the majority of them aren't teaching the truth about the Dan tribe. As I said before, their pyramids in themselves are bringing forth light. And I'm going to bring out this scripture here in Revelation. Revelation chapter 12 verse 16, it says, and the earth helped the woman. The woman is Israel. If you go into the understanding of this chapter here in verse 1, where it talks about the woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. That's the same woman. It's the 12 tribes of Israel. Israel has been compared to a woman in several scriptures. But the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood, which the dragon cast out of his mouth. Swallowed up the lies, which the white man and also the Dan tribe are casting out of their mouth. These lies about the Israelites the earth is also helping our people to understand these things. Also Psalms 85 verse 11, truth shall spring out of the earth, and righteousness shall look down from heaven. So for certain, the earth is also helping the people understanding that these different pyramids and mounds come from Egypt. Same Egyptian knowledge, same Egyptian pyramids. Dominicans also are Israelites. It's almost like clear the people are black for real. They're Negro, but also they're light. Some of them are light. Hispanic people. These are beautiful people too. This is a brainwash right here. I wanted to bring this up as well because here you see Ham, Shem, and Japheth, which really this is going off a little bit because really Ham should be dark, and these brothers should just be really dark, like dark. Ham's dark. Ham was like, that's why his name was burnt or hot, what they would say is Ham really means burnt, so he was extra black. If you don't understand that the 12 tribes are multicolored, then you don't understand how all nations which are multicolored come from 3 black men. I mean, it's the same basic concept, mingling themselves among different people, mixing themselves with different people, of course, for these all nations who come from black people to be light, except Esau. Esau came out red and hairy, which is a very strong distinction of the white man. Once I want to go into that as well here pretty soon. I'll break down exactly who Esau is and why people are lying about that. But for certain, A Cake Not Turned is not talking about Alicia Keys. It's talking about these types of people. You see black and light and darker Puerto Ricans. Carmelo Anthony's a Puerto Rican. I believe his mother's a so-called African American, but his father for certain is a Puerto Rican with an afro. Fat Joe, Puerto Rican. You can see they're both light, almost the exact interpretation of A Cake Not Turned. Cubans have blacks, middle, light brown, and even almost Caucasian white-looking people. You can't say without knowing who this kid's genealogy is that for certain he's not an Israelite because he's so light-skinned with his hair. Our people are going to be mixed, mingled, and all kind of stuff. Like I said this before, even though the Cubans for certain are the Israelites, but some of them look just like this, and some of them look like that. It's straight cake not turned. Beautiful Cuban people, melanated, all of them, some dark, some light, some look Negro, some don't. And they're all mingled. This is the earth also, the Los Lunas Decalogue stone, Hebrew in the Americas, pre-Columbian era. They spoke Hebrew, wrote Hebrew, because they're the Hebrews. They're the Israelites. This is in New Mexico. So for certain, the earth is bringing forth the truth. And what the scriptures say, the truth shall spring out of the earth. That's guaranteed. This book isn't a lie. Everything about it is true and perfect. The Back Creek inscription. This is the Back Creek song Billy came out of Tennessee, Hebrew. It says, is an inscribed stone collected as part of a Native American burial mound excavated in Loudoun County, Tennessee. Hebrews. The Newark Holy Stone. This is Moses. Moses with an afro for real. If you zoom in on it, that's supposed to be Moses with the 10 Commandments on it. It's called this is in Ohio, in my state. Found in the possession, I believe it was an Indian tomb. The earth is bringing forth the truth. The truth shall spring out of the earth. So I wanted to bring out a few of those things and bring out the fact that this all Negro doctrine is complete trash for our people. And one thing I hear, like I posted this before on social media, I believe on Instagram, that this is straight garbage right here. This all Negro, Abraham, all these Negro, all of these. At the beginning they were, until our people started mingling themselves among the people and became a cake not turned. I mean, their ancient descendants their forefathers are Negro, but all the tribes are not Negro. One thing they always try to bring out is the Deuteronomy 28:68, and they claim that the Northern Kingdom wasn't in ships, but that's falsehood. First of all, they came over here in ships. They had to travel across the water, so they definitely came over here in ships. But I want to bring out, this is from the Lost Tribes book, Lost Tribes and Promised Lands by Ronald Sanders. This is page number 131, I believe, where it says, most of them died like the natives of Cuba and Hispaniola, before them many not even surviving the dreadful conditions of the slave ships onto which they were crammed unmercifully. Las Casas later wrote that a ship could easily have sailed from the Locoyos to Hispaniola without compass or chart, guiding itself solely by the trail of dead Indians who had been thrown from the ships. So that entire garbage that they're all Negro is complete falsehood. Excuse me, let me get back to this right here, this whole Negro thing. See, they try to bring out 2868 as if the Northern Kingdomers have never been on slave ships. Indigenous peoples have definitely been on slave ships. It's even in this book, Lost Tribes and Promised Lands. And they came here in slave ships. So for certain, the entire doctrine that it's all Negroes is trash. Israel and Judah, right here. We'll go here in Jeremiah 51. Jeremiah 50:33. Thus saith the Most High of Hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. Oppressed together. That's exactly what you can see here. In this image of course, both of our people were oppressed together. Negroes and Native Americans. Lost hundreds of millions on both sides, on both kingdoms. Hundreds of millions of people lost. So I definitely wanted to bring those things out and show and prove exactly what I'm saying about our people being in the midst of a lot of lies. Our people are being manipulated in falsehoods. And I want to bring out the truth and bring out the real truth about how we know for certain who the Israelites are. In the ending, I wanted to say this, bring out 1 John 4:20. If a man say, I love the Most High, and hateth his brother, he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother, whom he hath seen, how can he love the Most High, whom he hath not seen? And this commandment have we from him, that he who loveth the Most High, love his brother also. Now, in order to love the Most High and love your brother, you got to know who your brethren is. Lying about your brother isn't love. Not telling your brother the truth about who he is and what is required of him as being an Israelite is not love. There's no love in not telling your brother that he is under a blessing and a curse. That's love, is not suffering sin upon your brother. So by lying about who the Israelites are, that's not love. There's no love in that. There's no love in these all Negro doctrines. They're falsehood, brothers and sisters. So if you are a Negro from the slave trade, whether it be Haitian, West Indian, American, Brazilian, Hispanic, wherever you've been scattered from the slave trade, and you're teaching that when saying that the Israelites are all black, you need to turn from that like the face of a serpent. Turn from it like you've seen the most frightening thing that you've ever seen in your life, because these things will not allow for you to get into that kingdom, the kingdom that we all should be aspiring to get into. You cannot be lying to make it there. So all these falsehoods, if you following somebody or learning from somebody that's telling you that all Israelites are Negroes, or all the Negroes are this entire trash, it's complete garbage. Just run from that and pick up the book and follow the book, because that's the only place you're going to get the real truth is out of the scriptures. So brothers and sisters, with that being said, I want to say shalom, all praises to the Most High, and hopefully I've actually brought out some scriptures and some history and some things that are beneficial to you. So continue in learning, continue in the knowledge, continue seeking the Most High until he comes, until he gets. It's a continuous learning process, changing to it. If you have to change something, change it. If you go into this book and you find something that you're doing wrong, you have to change that. So brothers and sisters, I want to say shalom, and all praise is due to the Most High.